Neil with the damn balding plebs, joined by my brother, the king of no BS himself.
Mr. fucking YouTube, baby.
Mr. fucking YouTube. Now, this is a video I wanted to do because I did see a fellow YouTuber do it the other day, and it's a discussion I want to have with you. So first of all, aside from, you know, the parody content, aside from the collector's edition breakdown reviews, some cool unboxings, some model reviews and stuff like that we've been doing recently, we do still have some game live streams, and we have some gameplays and no BS reviews coming up here in 2020. But for what games? So what games are we really looking forward to in 2020? I'll start us right off the bat here. Resident Evil 3 Remake. Yeah, that's going to be a game that I'm going to be taking. I'm really excited to play it. I plan to do a full playthrough, and depending on the content that they put in that game, how many branching paths or anything like that, I might do 2 or 3 playthroughs as well.
Yeah, I think we were really excited for Resident Evil 2 Remake last year, but I think we got above and beyond what we expected with that game. It's one of the few AAA releases that we feel we got our $60 value out of.
Absolutely.
That is one of the best remakes I've seen.
It was amazing.
And if they do the Resident Evil 3 remake in the same vein with the same attention to detail, the same, just taking that 20 years later, basically, right, and saying, here's a new, more immersive experience, tidying up the camera angles. Obviously, they're going to do the over-the-shoulder thing, I think, like we've seen. We're looking at another great experience that we're very excited for.
Yeah, absolutely. You do get Project Resistance with the game. I have nothing to say about that game. To me, it's totally irrelevant. Yeah. I couldn't care less about it. The purchase there, the draw of that purchase, the draw of that day one for me is the Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I have, to be fair, even until they mentioned it, been excited for and hoping for.
Yeah, we're very excited for Resident Evil 3 Remake. So, I think there's no question about it.
So how about another game that we're probably going to be picking up? I don't know if we're going to day one this or not. How about a game, Doom Eternal?
I do think Doom Eternal looks very, very good. I like a lot of the changes they made, like the hook shot where you can pull yourself around. You've got a lot of that arena shooting sort of stuff, really fast pace. So I think Doom Eternal does look very, very excellent, just from a kind of a adrenaline shooter standpoint. For
sure. Haven't made the decision whether we're going to pull the day one trigger on that yet or not, but Doom Eternal is shaping up and looking really good. Now that had a delay, didn't it?
It did, if I remember right. Again, we've had this discussion before. We are not anti-game delays.
No.
Right?
I'm actually pro game delays, to be fair.
If the delay is for the right reasons. Now, if it's because the studio is financially in trouble or because they don't have the correct direction or a bunch of these other problems, then that's not so great. But if it's to delay the game, to polish it, to, tidy up bugs, make it work right, get things in order, fine. When they release games, when we talk $60 day one price points, we expect a $60 experience. We have very high expectations.
We expect Jedi Fallen Order.
Basically, yes. So we expect a top tier experience for $60. So if they have to delay it to get it right, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. Again, I agree with you. I think some of the changes and some of the additions that they've been making to Doom Eternal are really tidying up the gameplay mechanics, expanding on what we saw in the previous Doom game. So I'm really excited to see how that game performs. I know a lot of you are excited for that collector's edition. Some of you are a little concerned about it, but for the most part, the hype around Doom Eternal and just some of that visceral, gutty, violent, bloody combat and gameplay that we've been seeing is pretty damn high. Yeah. And I think rightfully deserved. I think there's a lot to be said for having a great first-person shooter that's just, at the end of the day, fucking fun to play.
Exactly. Rage 2, again, kind of a game that was also by id, and you had the Bethesda overarch or whatever, but you had kind of that Doom vibe in the combat there that I thought was really excellent.
Yep.
Definitely the saving grace for Rage 2 was the combat.
Yeah.
So if they can create that and take it to the next level in Doom Eternal, you have an awesome experience.
For sure. So another game that I want to have a quick chat about here. How about, now CD Projekt Red has actually openly said they're concerned about their release date. Not sure if they're going to be able to have the game finished and ready to box and go by then. But Cyberpunk 2077. Let me ask you a question. If it turns out that they would delay it, this is not confirmed, but if it would turn out that they would delay it, would you be upset about that? Of course you wouldn't.
I'm not going to be upset from I want a great game standpoint. I'll be upset just because I do want to play it.
I think we're both really excited for it.
I do think Cyberpunk is shaping up to be really good.
Yeah.
It is a very wanted game. I mean, if it has the same level of detail and quality that something like The Witcher 3 had, obviously you're looking at the same pedigree here. I mean, it's going to be hard-pressed not to be very, very excited and very, very wowed by that game.
Yep.
At the same time, I would say to CG Projekt Red, do what you need to do to release a top-tier product. Please do not release something that damages your credibility as a developer.
Of course. Because there's plenty of developers that have already done
it. We have a whole bunch of blacklisted developers that piss us off as it is. Yeah. So don't do that. We respect you guys. We hold you guys at a high, at like the top echelon of developers that are going to release a quality finished game when you're done. So just do it right, please. And if I have to wait a couple more months or even wait till the holiday season, I'll do it.
Yeah. We talk about this all the time. I'd rather them delay that game another 3, 4, 5, 6 months, tidy things up, finish things up, and on day one, unlike a lot of these companies that are releasing games, on day one, that's how you command that $60 price point or more in the case of premium editions, digital editions, collector's editions.
Yeah, not only demand the $60 price point, but like people that pay it feel like they got a great experience,
right? Yeah.
And you don't end up having an alienated fan base that says, "Okay, we really got a sour taste in our mouth here. We don't trust you guys anymore." Whatever. So take your time on it. I want it, but I want it right.
Yeah.
Because I have pretty high hopes for that game.
Obviously, if it's
probably one of my most anticipated games of 2020.
Obviously, if it's ready to go, we'll take it day one, no complaints. But if it's not ready to go, don't release it.
Yeah.
Push it back.
Yeah. That's
give yourself all the time you need. I agree.
And there's plenty of other games. Like we have plenty. We have that March. Or does it even start in February? But we have like the March, April, May time frame is just loaded. So if it's not ready, you're just going to throw it in there with a bunch of other games and just be clamoring for attention, and then it's going to get overshadowed. When realistically, you don't want that.
So let's talk about another game that's coming out in that kind of time frame slot. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, to my knowledge, this is not the full game, just part of the game.
So my thought on Final Fantasy VII Remake is this. Final Fantasy VII is a game that I think everybody in my age range, if you're in that 30 to 40 age range, you grew up with that game. That's probably the first role-playing game that you played. I know that's where I cut my teeth. And that was a phenomenal experience at the time. Yep. And now, as bad as the graphics were, again, for the time they were great, but you look back on it now, it doesn't really hold up graphically. You want that Final Fantasy VII Remake to be awesome. Because what they're asking for is $120 for it. If they're going to release it in 2 parts.
Minimum.
Yeah, they're asking $120 for that. To get the full experience. That is a hefty commitment. And, that... that gives it the old Twilight treatment, right? Where we release that final movie in 2 parts, get $20 out of people. So I only want them doing that if they're going to deliver 2 phenomenal, basically life-changing RPGs.
Yep.
I do think what I've seen so far has looked excellent.
I do too. I
am excited to play it, but it's a little slippery slope when they take a game and release it in 2 parts. A little slippery slope.
I hope that does not become the norm.
So, got to be careful there with that. My jury's out on that one, just because of the buy-in price day one on that. But I am excited for it. I do think it looks good, and I do want it to be good.
Let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2.
Another highly anticipated game coming out of Sony Studios. Naughty Dog, sorry. Pretty, Last of Us came out in 2013, if I remember right, 2014 in that time frame. Pretty sure.
It's originally a PS3 game.
PS3 game. So you've got at least 6-7 years between the 2 games. Kind of in that Red Dead vein, right? Where Red Dead had all those years to kind of build up, and then when you got that second part, it was pretty special.
Yep.
I want that same vibe with Last of Us Part 2, where I play that game, I go, God damn, this is a phenomenal, story-driven, heartfelt game. I do want to see some improvements in some of the combat mechanics.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Me too.
To that game, as some of the upgrading and different things like that. I'd like to see a little bit more on that on Last of Us Part 2. But I think playing as Ellie is a great change. I'm really excited for that. We'll have to see how it ends up, but I am excited for that game. Another one, too, is how about Ghost of Tsushima? Is that a 2020 release? I'm fairly certain it is.
Yeah.
We saw the expanded trailer on, Game Awards or whatever?
Yeah.
That looks really good.
It looks amazing.
I mean, that looks really freaking good. We got Sekiro last year to kind of wet our teeth on that Samurai, which was a great game. And I hope Ghost of Tsushima is going to be better, if possible. Maybe a little different vibe on it.
With Ghost of Tsushima, I am looking for a release date. Because first of all, we still don't have one, but I'm basically waiting for them to drop a release date trailer. Because companies like Amazon don't even have Ghost of Tsushima up for pre-order.
Oh, okay. So maybe we don't get it 2020. Well, it's one to mention.
The talk was that we might see it holiday of 2020.
Okay. Well, hey, if we do, maybe releasing alongside PS5 or on PS5.
Interesting.
Boy, would that be sweet.
Interesting.
System seller?
Well, here's another game we can discuss right along that. No really defined release date yet. Dying Light 2. I'm looking forward to Dying Light 2 because of the fact that, from what I hear, it has co-op.
Full campaign co-op.
That we can play together.
That'd be cool.
And that kind of got me excited the other day because I like playing games like that with you.
Yeah, I do too. It depends. I think for me, a lot of those co-op and full campaign co-op games are going to depend on how they instance things, right? So if we complete it in your game, does it complete in my game?
When we're playing in your game, the things we completed in your game are in your game.
Okay, so they're in my game. So it's basically two separate things. If I come into your game is its own state. Yes. But if I do things for you, they don't happen for me.
To my knowledge, no.
But will my experiences come back with me? Will my weapons and ammos and things like that happen?
I mean, it wouldn't make
much sense.
Or am I very good if it didn't?
Am I just your little side buddy?
Yeah, you're just like my little bitch, basically.
Yeah.
My pack mule to carry my shit.
So sometimes they do stuff like that where it's like, as the co-op person, you don't feel very invested.
Yeah, you don't feel.
I don't like that. I want to be invested in your game. Yeah. Right. So, or in my game,
give me a reason. With you. Give me a reason to give a shit about playing with you.
Exactly.
Right? Can I get these cool items too, or are you the only one that's able to pick things up?
Yeah.
Am I just kind of like a little bitch?
Yep. So very important to understand that is something we want to look at. But I do think Dying Light 2 does look interesting and pretty good. I mean, what we've seen, the way that the different you make different choices, and that really affects things. So I'm looking forward to that.
Let me just add this in here to kind of preview maybe a pleb talk down the road. The illusion of choice in games and what truly free choice in games would actually mean. So there's something I'd like to see us discuss someday. But we have I think we have a pretty hot release slate for games here in 2020. Early on specifically, and then, depending on when the release dates fall for games like Dying Light 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, could have a really good fall holiday season as well in 2020.
You could have a lot coming in the fall, yeah. And there's some other games, too, maybe more on the indie scale that I was looking forward to. I'm not sure if they're going to have Hollow Knight, Silksong this year. We know we've got Ori and the
Will o' the Wisps
coming pretty soon.
Yeah, very soon, actually. I think, what was it, the 3rd? Or something like that?
Yeah, it's. I thought it was March, but it's going to be coming. And so you do have some different things on the indie circuit that are looking pretty good too. So
absolutely.
But we definitely have some big hitters coming up, some stuff we're excited for 2020. So I am looking forward to 2020. I'm not sure if it's going to be, depending on when all these things get released, if it's going to be quite as good as we had. It's going to be hard to beat 2018. That was a hell of a year. So 2019 was okay. And we'll see. Hopefully 2020 shapes up. We do have some big hitters. So
yeah, some of these new upcoming games, I'm going to link them in the description. They're Amazon associate links. If you guys haven't pre-ordered them yet and you want to, there'll be links You guys can do it there. It supports the channel. You are not required to, but I am required to tell you it supports us. Neil with the Balling Plebs. Some games we're excited for. Joined by my brother, Mr. fucking YouTube Baby. And we'll see you right here next time for more honest content and real discussions like this.
You're welcome.
GG, you plebs.